All right, hello and welcome to CSCI 45, brand new semester. I am excited to teach you. I hope you're excited to be here. Let's get started. So, first thing I want to say is I don't make my presentations full screen. One, because I'm going to be flipping around between a lot of things, and two, they give me cooler pens this way. And so I promise it's worth it. And yeah, you found this video, obviously. Hopefully you also found links to the slides and the code that I write today. That's all on Canvas. You're getting it all. Let me know if you can't find it. I will help you. Okay? So here are some topics that we're going to talk about today after the boring stuff. So let's get through the boring stuff together. Maybe the first thing isn't so boring. I think I'm slightly interesting, right? Let me tell you one slide worth of information about me. I should introduce myself, right? Come to office hours if you want to see my face. But hi everybody, my name is Lawton Nichols. I use he, him pronouns, and I will respond to whatever you want to call me. I do this every semester. Call me Mr. Nichols, call me Dr. Nichols, call me Professor Nichols. But honestly, I'd prefer it if you just dropped all these and called me by my first name. Please call me Lawton if you're feeling up to it. Yeah, I want to earn your real respect. I don't want your fake respect with these titles, yeah. So I went to Fresno State for my undergrad, not too far away, right? And then I went to UC Santa Barbara for grad school. I got every possible degree I could get in computer science, so that was my major everywhere. And hopefully that means I can teach you something, right? We'll see, I guess. And here's my cat. His name is Lonzo. He is the sweetest, usually. He's named after Alonzo Church, who is a famous computer scientist slash mathematician. So I dedicated my firstborn son to the cause. And if you haven't heard of him, you will eventually, I promise. He's very famous. He was the PhD advisor of Alan Turing, who you should definitely have heard of by now, yeah? So, yeah, what else do I want to tell you guys about me? I like to do normal human things, too. I exist outside of the school. I don't know. I like to hike. I like to go running. I like to play guitar, stuff like that. So, yeah, talk to me about those things if you'd like. Hopefully I will see you in office hours. And yeah, just thank you in advance for putting up with me. We live in this post-COVID world that is weird, and nothing is as it seems, right? So yeah, we'll get through it all together, I promise. I'm here for you. Yeah, let's do it. So let's get through the boring stuff, and then we can actually learn some cool assembly programming, yeah? So I'm going to go fast. It's your job to read the syllabus, right? But let's talk a little bit about this stuff. So first of all, what are we learning? What do we got to learn in this class? What's the whole point? Okay, so we're going to learn the nitty-gritty of computers. We've learned programming at a high level by now, and we want to go deeper, okay? So we haven't really talked about like the ins and outs of all the hardware yet, have we? It's just been all programming at this level. Like we have no clue what the CPU is doing down under, but this is the class to learn those things. So that's pretty cool. And then the whole reason for this, why are we getting into like how are computers made? How do they execute at the lowest level? The whole reason for learning that kind of stuff is because it's going to make you a better programmer, right? And that's the main goal of a computer science degree. So once you understand like what's going on at that lowest level, like how the CPU is really working, you can optimize your code to run well and efficiently on that CPU, right? You'll write better and faster programs that make more sense, okay? So that's the whole motivation, I guess. Hopefully that resonates with you. So yeah, in this class, mainly what we're going to learn is assembly language and computer architecture. So we're going to learn an assembly language, which is the lowest level language of a CPU. That's like the language that the CPU itself speaks. And that's going to be a big deal. All right, there's a ton of different kinds of assembly languages. We are going to learn 64-bit ARM assembly language. Okay, there's also Intel assembly. x86 is another word for that. This computer that I'm teaching you on right now is an x86 architecture machine. The assembly language that you speak to it always has to do with the CPU. Okay, so we're going to use ARM assembly. So we're going to have a class server that is running on an ARM chip. So that's pretty cool. And then in addition to that and computer architecture, like how computers get made, we're also going to try to, or I will attempt, right, to fill in any gaps in your computer science education, like stuff you should have learned by now. I'm going to make sure you know, all right, because this is supposed to be the last class before you transfer. So I'm going to do my best to make sure that like, you can transfer to anywhere, including very top schools. We have a few of those in California, right? and just be able to hang with the students who have been there the whole time. All right, that's my goal for this class. Okay, so yeah, well, let's keep on trucking. So this is going to be an asynchronous class. I'm a little bit sad about that. If you look at the syllabus, let's just get that ready. We have some weird holidays. A holiday for the past 3 years that used to be on a Friday is now on a Monday, so we've lost a day. And so I would like for this to be a Tuesday-Thursday class, but I don't have room in my schedule on Tuesday-Thursdays. So it's the holidays' fault. And then also one of the Monday holidays has moved a week. So like we have this Labor Day holiday and then also Veterans Day. It used to be on a Friday. I swear it used to be on a Friday for the past 3 years. And now on Monday, an earlier Monday is the Labor Day. And because of those things, like everything is moved around weird, and I would have to like give you, like if we made this a Monday, Wednesday synchronous class, it would just mess a lot of stuff up. So I'm going to do this asynchronous, and I promise to give you holidays as if this were a Monday, Wednesday class. I'll give you these holidays off. Like I'll not have a lecture that maybe in a future week though. Okay, so like I'm going to move the holidays around to suit my needs. So we're going to pretend this is a Tuesday, Thursday / Monday, Wednesday class, if that makes any sense at all. So that's the reason for making this asynchronous. I think it's going to be worth the effort. And then honestly, if you were going to come to class anyway, the two of you who are going to do that, please just come to office hours instead. I'll give you the lecture and help you with anything that you didn't understand. So I think it's a win-win for both of us. All right, so this is going to be asynchronous. And because of that, because there's no set time, I'll give you a window to take exams. So a 24-hour window-ish seems fair to me. The exams themselves are going to be on Canvas. They'll be timed once you click start. So like expect like an hour and 15 minutes, so like a normal class time for our midterms, for example. And then also, because there is no class, I have to take attendance. I'm required by the school to take attendance in some way. And so the attendance is going to be your check-in survey. So hopefully you found that modules page on Canvas. Like for the first week, you got this check-in survey, week 1. Go to that, make sure you do it, because that's going to be my attendance. I'm required to drop you if you miss the attendance, in quotes, okay? So that's like the logistics of the class. Let's move on now to probably the most important slide that you care the most about in the class. So let's talk about that syllabus. So if we go back to it and we scroll all the way down to the section you care most about, I'll explain this bit now. So here's what's going on in the syllabus. So 10% of your grade's going to come from some written homework assignments. You'll actually write on paper, or at least virtually write on virtual paper, and turn those in. That's 10% of your grade. The bulk of your grade, though, is going to come from programming assignments, which I'll call labs. Those will be on the class server. So 35% of your grade, a good chunk, is going to come from labs. Programming assignments, usually in assembly, so that's fun. And then 5% of your grade will come from those check-in surveys. So it's really nice. It's just one thing that I do a lot of the times, like ask you, like, what are you struggling with? How could you maybe improve going forward? So it's kind of me forcing you to psychoanalyze yourself, and it's honestly a win-win because I get to see like what's going wrong, and then you get attendance credit. It's a very easy 5% of your grade just doing those check-in surveys. That's really nice. We will have 3 exams total in the class. So 30% of your grade will be from 2 midterms, okay? One will be during week 6, that's like a third of the way through the class. The other is going to be week 12, 2/3 of the way through the class. And then the final exam will be 3/3 of the way. So that's perfectly spaced out, I think. That's pretty nice. And yeah, so that's 15% each per midterm. And then we have 20% left over. And normally, in every other class, I would give like a 20% final. But in this one, because it's special, it's supposed to be like the last one before you transfer, I'll do something cooler, and I'll split that up. I'll give 10% of your final grade to a final project that I'll have you work on in groups, and you'll give like a presentation about it. You'll make something really cool, and that is going to be 10% of your grade, and that's a really nice way of like making sure you're ready to transfer, I think. Forcing you to learn some stuff on your own, I think it's a really nice thing to do. So you're going to have a final project, mentally prepare, start thinking of ideas maybe, and then the final 10% of your grade will be towards a final exam. So it'll be worth even less than a midterm. So that's a really nice thing at the end of the semester, I think. So I'll still give you an exam. It'll be much lower stakes than usual because I'm going to save some credit for that final project. So yeah, I think that's all that I wanted to say about that. I do give extra credit I'll release some extra credit assignments as the semester progresses, but also we have an ACM club on campus, and I'll give you half an extra credit point, half a percentage point towards your final grade of extra credit if you go to any of the ACM club workshops that they like to put on throughout the semester. Okay, so your extra credit is capped at 10% though, so that's 1 letter grade. You can't get more than that, so don't do any extras, any extra credit, if that makes sense. Okay, so there's that. And then finally, let's talk about your final exam. So again, there's no set time for this class, so if you scroll down, here's what I'm going to do. We're going to get the final exam out of the way on finals week. We're going to have a final exam available during at least a 24-hour range between the Monday and Tuesday of finals week. So that's those days. Okay, so that is, I think, what I wanted to say about the final exam. I'll give you more information, like the exact time range, as we get closer to it, but just make sure to have some time on those days. I know you will, right? It's going to be at least a 24-hour range. So there's that. That's the syllabus, and I think that is what I wanted to say about it. So yeah, let's keep on trucking. Let's also talk about dropping lowest scores. So I will drop quite a few of your lowest scores. So I'll drop your lowest 2 labs and your lowest 1 homework assignment. So like if things didn't go well for a week or two, it's like they never happened. Okay, so that's pretty nice. I highly encourage you to make them up though. So there's that. Drop in lowest scores. Let's do due dates. So I do have a due date policy that's different to a lot of professors. I think it's worth it. So every assignment in this class, just mentally prepare right now. Every assignment in this class, except for the check-in surveys, which will be due on Fridays at 5:30, will be due at 5 p.m. Okay? Every assignment. Programming assignments, homeworks, everything is going to be due at 5 p.m. in this class. All right? That makes sure that I am awake when things go wrong, because we know by now, right, that things go wrong near the due date in a computer science class. Like you're having technical difficulties. I will usually be having office hours at the time when something is due. And so that's really going to be helpful for you when you have issues, I think. Okay, so that's my due date policy. I do make some exceptions for certain students, so if you fall into these groups, please let me know. So if you work at least half time, 20 hours or more per week, school doesn't count. If you're taking 20 units, that's your fault, right? But some of us, we have to work, and so if you work at least 20 hours a week, I will give you an extra 7 hours on all your assignments. So it really will be due at midnight for you, those assignments. Okay. And if you work full-time, at least full-time, 40 hours or more, or if you do something that is the equivalent of a full-time job, like you care for a child, something like that, then I will give you an extra 15 hours to do your assignments. You can either stay up late or wake up early, and you have extra opportunities to get that stuff in. And hopefully we can all agree that anybody who falls into these categories deserves that extra time, right? So let me know if any of those apply to you. I'll put you in the right group to make sure you have those extensions. And I do want to say that they're for assignments only. Everybody gets the same window for exams. Okay, so that's due dates. And let's next talk about late submission. So I'm pretty lenient when it comes to turning in things late. I will accept late programming assignments, labs, and check-in surveys up to the last day of instruction. Not the last day of finals week, but the last day of classes. And there is a trade-off there, though. So I'm going to accept things super late, but I'm going to take off half of the credit the second you turn something in late. Okay, so try to get things on time, turned in on time if you can, but if anything goes wrong and you need to make something up, 50% is way better than 0. Okay, so definitely take advantage of that. The one thing I don't allow late is homework submissions, because those take longer to grade, and if I get a bunch of those right as I'm trying to work on the final, that will just like ruin everything. So I think this is the best way to do it. Labs and check-in surveys, nothing else. Okay, now let's talk about your textbooks. So I have a page for that. Textbooks. So there is one free textbook. This is called Dive Into Systems. Here's a link to it. So this is going to be the book that we're using for sure in this class. I'm forcing you to read out of it. Okay, so there's that textbook. And it's really nice. It's going to talk mostly about computer architecture, a little bit about assembly. There is an assembly chapter that I'm going to force you to read. And so yeah, that's going to be the textbook, and here is your first little bit of reading about it. So I'd like you, please, to just skim through. You don't have to read too closely. Chapters 0, 1, and 2. So these guys. It's a cute little book. You just click through. It's got some examples of things. It's going to teach you the C language first. That is the I guess the older sibling of C++. It came before it. So yeah, you don't have to like just skim the chapters. Don't read them super closely. Just like understand them well enough, because I will be talking about this stuff in class. But skim these. Take your time. The more you read, the easier the class will be, though. So take a couple weeks. There's no rush, but please look at this. It'll make the class a whole lot more useful to you. I promise. Things will go smoother. I'm not going to ever quiz you on these readings. Like, I'm going to assign reading, but I'm never going to like check if you actually read. I guess that's what the tests are for. Yeah, you're probably going to get lost if you don't do the readings, though. So there is a reason I'm assigning reading. All right, so that's the first textbook. It's free, no excuses. The second textbook it costs money, and so it's optional. You don't have to get it if you don't want to, but I do think it will help. Okay, it's called Programming with 64-Bit ARM Assembly Language. It's like the best textbook I could find for the assembly language that we're going to learn. There's two links to that. There's a link on Amazon. Like, you can buy it on Amazon if you want. Or, this is a big or. I'm not sure if this will work. I'm pretty sure it will, though. Most four-year colleges, there's a way to get it on this thing called SpringerLink. And most four-year colleges, like Fresno State, for example, they have a subscription to SpringerLink where you can get the PDF for free of this book. Okay, so if you go to Fresno State's library, for example, and use one of their computers or use their Wi-Fi if they let you, you might be able to go to the SpringerLink place, and there might be a download PDF button here that appears once you're on their Wi-Fi. So you should try it. Somebody try it and post on Discord if it worked, but I'm pretty sure it's going to work. Okay, it would definitely work at UC Santa Barbara. So if you have a four-year college near you, wherever you are, go to their Wi-Fi and see if you can get the book for free, because I think it's very useful. All right, so my suggestion is get this book and just read through it as fast as you could possibly do. Do the reading. Okay, it's really nice. I think it will save you a lot of time. Like, everything that the book talks about, obviously I'll talk about in the class, but it's more comprehensive. And I think like everything that you could learn from this book is also available on the internet, like on random web pages. But again, it's a time saver. So it shouldn't take you too long to like skim it over, I think. There's a bunch of nice chapters. Some of them are irrelevant, like you don't have to read through them, like GPIO pins. That's only if you had like a physical device. Skip that one. Kotlin and Swift, we don't care about. Skip that chapter. Most of the other ones you should read, though. There's some cool tutorials as well if you want to look through those. But yeah, what we're going to learn is 64-bit ARM assembly language. If you want to Google that, those are the resources you want to go and look for. Okay, so that is your optional textbook. I encourage it. See if you can get it. Honestly, somebody try, please. I want to know. Yeah, let's keep on trucking now. The next thing I want to talk about is just expectations. This is a 4-unit class, right? So it's meant to take some time. It's a challenging class, but I believe in all of you. Okay, we're going to get through it together. This is, again, like I said, supposed to be like the last computer science class that you take before you transfer out of here. So we have to make sure your skills are up to speed, all right? We're making sure everything comes together. That's why I'm giving you a final project, for example. And yeah, everything is going to build on top of the classes that you take at a community college, okay? Such as this one. So yeah, again, hopefully you know the rule by now, right? If you're taking a 4-unit class, that means you're going to spend 4 hours in class, like listening to me drone on, and then you're going to spend double that of hours outside of class. So that's why like 12 units it means full-time load because of this, right? So now you understand, hopefully. So yeah, this first week's 8 hours will pretty much be you reading stuff, okay? So that's going to be the goal for this week at least. And I'm not trying to scare you away. Like, I just want to make sure you understand what you're getting into, so that you can like set aside the time. Okay, I promise to be here as much as I could possibly be here. I'm on Discord more often than I should be, probably. And I'll give you some days towards the end of the semester, once we get through a lot of the topics, I'll give you some days to just like use the class time that you would have been spending watching these lectures to just do work. Okay, we're gonna have some days left over, which is nice. Okay, so there's that. moving along, technology loan program. The school is really nice. It lets you check out laptops. It lets it also lets you check out little internet routers, hotspot routers, if you have a bad internet connection at home. So if you need any of those things, or even like a calculator for a math class, we have this technology loan program through the library, and you can go to the resources page on Canvas for more information on that. I highly encourage you to take advantage of this if you need it. And then, yeah, what else do we need to talk about? Office hours. All right, so Canvas is where the office hours live. Dun, dun, dun. Lawton's office hours right here. It's also on the homepage. So if you click here, here is a link to my office hours. So here is when I want to have my office hours, these green things. Here's when I want to have them. We'll see if I get to keep those hours. So just always check the schedule before you attend, but you can attend in person on these days in this new building, which is exciting. And you can also come on Zoom. I'll be available on Zoom during all of my office hours times. Friday will be nothing but Zoom. Okay, so yeah, click this link or this link, any of them, to attend office hours. And I highly encourage you to attend if you ever have a question or you just want to like work on stuff. It's more fun when you're there. So there's that. Let's next talk about Discord. So we have a Discord for this class. And while it loads and probably updates, let's talk a little bit about it. So I've got like a channel for this class. To gain access to that channel, you have to follow the instructions. So like the invite link is here. Like go to this Discord info page. Like there is an invite link for you guys to click, and then it'll give you access to this server. And you'll only have the welcome and guide channels at the start. Hopefully you saw the stuff and you scrolled up to the tippy top. You gotta check that 100 emoji, and then it looks like it's the owl for us for CSCI 45. That'll start adding all these things. Make sure your username contains your last name so that I know who you are. You can change your nickname for just this server, and then add your pronouns if you would like. But yeah, that'll give you access to CSCI 45, for example. That's the idea. So ask any questions that you have here, and either I or your peers will be available to answer them if you have a question that you can ask publicly. And I ask you to use your judgment, because there are certain questions that should not be asked publicly, right? So definitely ask questions publicly when you can, so that like if it's 3 a.m. and I'm asleep, your peers who are also awake can help you. But the one thing I don't want you to do is share like answers to like full-blown answers to like programming assignments or homeworks, sharing a ton of code publicly. That's something I don't want you to do. Okay, so please just use your judgment. If you have something that like requires you to share your entire answer or your entire bit of code, like several lines of code, then you can just send me a direct message instead. You can click my name, and there should be like a message button. I can't message myself, but you kind of get the idea, I hope. You can send me a direct message, and that's private. Okay, so please send me one of those if your question calls for it. And I think you can imagine what my email inbox looks like as a teacher. It's disgusting. So please use Discord if you can. I highly encourage you to use Discord to contact me instead of like using email or using Canvas. Okay, because it's very easy for me to see when you send me something on Discord. Okay, so there's that. I promise we're almost done. We're so close. So one of the last things I want to say in the logistics part of this lecture is you're going to get stuck. All right, I'm sure you've seen this by now. This has happened to you by now in the computer science field. So you're going to get stuck. It's okay. That's the whole point. I want you to ask for help, though, if you've been stuck for too long. So let's set a time limit, okay? So let's say if you've been stuck on something I've asked you to do for at least 30 minutes, all right? You don't know where to go. You've tried things, you're not sure. That's when I want you to ask for help. Come to office hours, ask a public or private question on Discord. Let's fix that, all right? It's my job to get you over that hurdle and on to the next one, yeah? So if you've been stuck for that long, please ask for help. There's no virtue in staring at your screen for 2 hours thinking about a problem that's just like the answer's just not coming to you. You need some help, all right? I did that when I was an undergrad. I think it would be so much better if I just went to office hours more often. So please don't be like I was and ask for help, okay? Though, I will say, if you're stuck for 29 minutes on something, a lot of times you're going to get like a flash of genius in the 30th minute, right? It's going to come to you. It's all going to click. So that's the goal, I think. But yeah, if you've been stuck for too long, please ask for help. All right, I think this is the last slide of the logistics page. So we have a wonderful class website. It is www.lottensclass.com. It's right here. Let me go to this in like a private browser. So it looks a little bit different for you. So your username, first of all, if you're watching this before the semester starts, your account on this as well as on the class server will not work until the Monday of classes start, okay? So just keep that in mind. But once that day happens, your username and your password by default are going to be your last name, all lowercase, no hyphens, no spaces, then an underscore, and then your student ID. So like if this was your last name and this was your student ID, this would be your username and password right now for the class website. And if this was your last name and this was your student ID, then this would become your username and password. The case is important. It's all lowercase. Okay, so keep that in mind. Hopefully you can log in once the semester starts, right? It'll look like this. Your page will look like this, like last name. I hope I remember this password. Let's see if I did it right. Yeah, so this is what your page is going to look like, and the thing you're going to probably care the most about is the lab grades page. So there's that. Let's see what else. Please change your password, though. Make sure it's not the default. You can change your password to something else. So that's what the class website looks like, and let me know if you can't log in if the semester has started. So remember that this account will not exist until the semester starts. And yeah, I think that's all that I wanted to say. I think it's time for the real lecture, and I think what I'll do is I will make a new video for that so that when you want to come back and review things, you don't have to like watch this first part all over again. So I'm going to stop now and make a new video, and I'll see you in that new video.